Welcome back everyone to the 12.5B edition of the best solo carry champions. These are the 3 strongest picks for every single role our analysts rate the highest for the current state of the meta. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. The best top laner to counter the wave of Hullbreaker and Bruiser top lane champs is Malphite. The Rock is super easy to play, can stack armor, and still deal insane damage while also possessing one of the best solo queue engage tools with ult. Tryndamere is picked a ton along with Aatrox, Jax, and Aurelia, so there's no better time to have Mal in your champion pool. Malphite is ridiculously broken into auto-reliant champions as the attack speed slow from E combined with building Frozen Heart nullifies them super hard. The number 1 ban you've got to use is Sylas. Since Mal scales with armor, he doesn't really want to be building magic resist, and Sylas stealing Malphite ult for late game never ends well. Blue build works extremely well for Malphite with a Frostfire Rush into Winter's Approach 2nd and Frozen Heart 3rd. Comet is the keystone with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Grab Conditioning and Overgrowth for secondaries. Tryndamere slots into our top 3 for another patch as his side lane dominance is completely unmatched. Nobody does it better when it comes down to snowballing an early game advantage. When ahead in lane with ultimate available, you can dive the enemy on repeat, knock down all their towers, and before you can even blink, you've reached the enemy base. Definitely look to ban out Malphite as his armor stacking and attack speed slow shut down Trynd very hard. Gale Force Dash combined with E mobility gives you insane sticking power, which makes it easy to punish positional errors. Don't sleep on Kraken though when against tankier compositions. Hullbreaker and Quick Blade slot in to round out the core build. Lethal Tempo is the perfect keystone for Trynd, followed by Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Second Wind and Unflinching are optimal secondaries. The backbone of the top lane solo queue meta for most of Season 12 has been Shen. One of the safest and most reliable champs you can play, as Shen's laning is solid, map impact is amazing, and you can always be useful no matter the state of the game. Bot lane can be getting smacked around, but all it takes is that one ultimate when the enemy team overextends, you snag a couple shutdowns, and momentum shifts in your favor. Solo queue players love to fight constantly and completely disregard Shen ultimate, so it works amazing for that Fiesta style of play. Mord is always a great ban, as Shen has a more difficult time dealing with spell-casting bruisers. Frostfire into Demonic and Thornmail 3rd has become the staple build for Shen in recent patches. For runes, run Grasp with Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Revitalize. Secondaries include Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. A jungler on the rise in recent patches has been Shyvana, and she slots into the top 3. Instead of playing for a heavy scaling-focused style with Dark Harvest and Flash, a brand new strategy has emerged. Press the attack is run as the keystone and Ignite in place of Flash. Shiv can proc PTA super quick due to her Q, and with Ignite available, the dueling power is sneaky good. Build is way more reliable than full AP as you rush a Frostfire into Demonic Embrace. Demonic passive scales off bonus health, so Shyvana ultimate and Frostfire passive give the item massive value. The extra durability from the setup allows you to dive in more aggressively and offers a more well-rounded playstyle. Masters and above Shyvana can still run into issues, but for Diamond and below, we definitely recommend picking her up before more people catch on to her current strength. There were a few patches where Hecarim fell out of meta, but it really feels like this champion has been top tier for most of Season 12. Ever since the Chemtank into Manamune build caught fire, we've seen Hecarim obliterate the competition patch after patch. Running Ghost and activating E allows Heck to capitalize on opportunities far more often than your average jungler. Wards don't even phase Hecarim as he can zoom right on by and be up in the enemy's face before they can even react. Snowballing the early game can be effortless, and hitting an early Chemtank ensures easy pick plays. Once you get a lead with Heck, it's all about playing around Fog of War and looking for those flank plays when the enemy team is split up. Best rune page is Phase Rush with Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and Water Walking. Secondaries are Triumph and Tenacity. Taking home the 3rd solo carry spot for jungle this patch is Diana. Diana has the ability to run away with games level 6 onwards, so the passive damage buff a while back really pushed her into meta. You want to focus on hitting 6 as quick as possible and being proactive when ult is up. Once you complete Rocket Belt, the pick potential is massive, and you can do a great job capitalizing when the enemy team is grouped up. Flash with Rocket Belt and E can cover an enormous amount of ground, and combined with the one-shot power makes Diana a deadly solo queue carry. Nashers into Bruisers or tanks and Rocket Belt against squishies is how you should play the rush item. Zhonya's and Shadow Flame are great second and third options. Pick up Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace for primary runes. Flying under the radar as one of the best hard carry mid laners is Ukshin. We're seeing so much of Ahri and Veigar as of late, which bodes well for Ukshin. Ukshin can abuse the shield bow into Wit's End build and even grab Merc Treads, which provides great durability against burst mages. Ukshin's kit is exactly what you want in a solo carry mid, as his roaming power, cleanup potential, and dueling ability are all top tier. Yasuo is the only meta matchup giving Ukshin some difficulties, as Yasuo's Wind Wall can shut down Ukshin's kit quite well. Just use your ban on Yasuo and you're good to go. Standard core build is a shield bow rush into Wit's End 2nd and Rage Blade 3rd. For runes, grab, press the attack with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Shield Bash and Bone Plating work best for secondaries. Ahri was nerfed in 12.5, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Despite the changes, there's still no one better than Ahri when it comes down to solo carry power from the mid lane. Pick power from E and Ultimate allows you to take matters into your own hands and catch out high priority targets. Ultimate now providing a reset on kills, pushed the champion to another level, and lets you pull off so many more plays throughout the game. Fizz or Zed are two of the better bans for Ahri, as their mobility and burst can be difficult to deal with. Everfrost Rush is a great spike, as the slow or root from active make it so easy to line up charm. Ludens and Liandry's can also work well depending on the game. Ludens is great into an all squishy comp, while Liandry's is best into heavy health stackers. Electrocute is the optimal keystone with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ultimate Hunter. Pick up Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic for secondaries. Veigar mid has seen a really nice resurgence in recent patches after being absent from meta for many months. Direct buffs along with Predator coming into meta as Veigar's best keystone has given him that extra solo carry strength he needed. In the past, you'd have to sit back and use E as more of a zone tool, but finding picks and being that initiator is way more effective now. Popping Predator and catching an enemy squishy in your cage is a guaranteed flash, if not a kill, every single time. Of course, you can still play back and use E as a peel tool, but there are now many more ways to make an impact with the champ. Assassin mids remain Veigar's main weakness, but if you can avoid dying early, you're of much more use 2 items onwards. Cat or Ahri are 2 good bans to consider when playing Vague. Core build is an Everfrost Rush, followed by Rabadon 2nd and Zanya's 3rd. With Zeri and Jinx nerfed, it's time for Twitch to start gaining the recognition he deserves. Twitch is insanely undervalued with how the solo queue meta has evolved. Enchanter support's play rates are at an all-time high. Lux, Lulu, Karma, and Yuumi are being spammed in solo queue, which makes Twitch a much more reliable pick. Enemy team might as well just dodge if you lock Twitch, and your support is playing Lulu because the combo is unstoppable at 2 items. Twitch is also a great answer to Jhin because you can heavily abuse his reload mechanic. You can stealth in and wait for Jhin to use his 4th shot on the wave, then pop out of stealth and blast him while he can't fight back. Since Jinx and Zeri are nerfed, we're going to be seeing a ton more Jhin, giving Twitch even more power. Lots of variation on Twitch builds right now, as you can run a Kraken or Gale Force Rush, depending on preference. Blade's 2nd item and Hurricane 3rd are quite standard. You can even rush Blade if you prefer some extra early game sustain. Run Lethal Tempo as the keystone with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Taste of Blood and Ultimate Hunter are the best secondaries. Vayne slides back into the top 3 for 12.5B for very similar reasons to Twitch. Jinx and Zeri dropping down gives Vayne more room to shine, while Enchanter meta is exactly what Vayne wants. It's a mystery as to how Shield Bow and Wit's End are still viable core items for Vayne, but they are, and give her so much power. Dive Champs and Assassins are relatively easy to fend off for Vayne, as you have so much durability and can even run Exhaust to amplify it. Exhaust actually wins about 1% more than Heal does for solo queue, so especially in games where you're up against heavy dive champs, look to pick it up. Lethal Tempo is Vayne's best keystone with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Players are really sleeping on Resolve secondary for Vayne with Conditioning and Overgrowth. If you're in a relatively easy early game matchup, run this page to bolster your mid game spike even further. In harder matchups where early sustain is needed, running Taste of Blood is completely fine though. Jhin now becomes one of the few top-tier marksmen who hasn't been hit with any nerfs over the past few months. Jhin is one of the few ADCs who can adapt super well based on the game in hand. Boots with 4 potions start is amazing into heavy poke lanes, as you can dodge out on skill shots easier, sustain better, and guarantee a Swifty's buy on first base. Vice versa when paired with an aggro support and you're confident in early kill pressure, running Doran's Blade is viable too. There are so many ways for you to be effective on Jhin, as he relies way less on his support than most ADCs. Gale Force into W is a very unique pick tool that, when used in correct situations, can lead to massive advantages. After completing Gale Force, the Collector 2nd and Fire Cannon 3rd work best for most games. Fleet is the most dominant Jhin keystone with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Sorcery secondary is really picking up traction with Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. Renata Glask kicks off the top 3 for support as she's proven to be highly effective shortly after release. There are few supports who have tools to engage while also being able to buff up carries, but Renata is one of them. A shield, attack speed boost, revive, stun, all in one kit, while Kog'Maw players continue to suffer with a passive that rewards him for dying. Because of Renata's versatile kit, there are many ways to make an impact and influence the game no matter its state. We mentioned how undervalued the Locket build was for Renata in a recent video, and it's starting to be played a ton more. Locket into Redemption and Frozen Heart is the core we would highly recommend. You can run Airy or Glacial on Renata, but Guardian is what works best with this setup. Guardian with Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching are primary runes, grab Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. Glacial Augment Blitzcrank continues to rise above as a top 3 solo carry support in 12.5b. Good Blitz players are absolutely loving the current support meta, as Karma, Lulu, and Yuumi are matchups that you can obliterate with a small lead. Calling your jungler over, flashing onto the enemy to guarantee knockup from E, and then following with Hook should be a kill every single time. After snowballing bot lane, rush Moby boots and influence mid lane whenever you're coming off a reset or bot lane is shoved in. Every Blitz player should strive to not only win their own lane, but also make it so the enemy mid lane goes AFK. Locket or Shirelia's Rush is standard stuff, followed by Zeke's second and Wardstone third. Runes are Glacial with Hex Flash, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Bone Plating and Unflinching are optimal secondaries. Flipping the switch with a less aggro support, if you want someone who can protect carries extremely well, look the way of Janna. The mini rework has turned Janna into the ultimate protector, as her shield power is even more insane, and running Glacial offers ludicrous amounts of peel. With the likes of Hecarim and Diana running rampant, using Janna as an effective counter will suit you well for the majority of games. Since Janna E now provides 20% bonus heal and shield power when you impair an enemy, Moonstone and Redemption should not be overlooked. Shirelia's is viable if you really need the added peel, but the value for Moonstone and Redemption are so much higher now. Glacial is Janna's best keystone with Freeboots, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Look to run Font of Life and Revitalize for secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. Thank you guys so much for watching, good luck in solo queue, and we'll see you in the next one.